Hi, it's Debbie Williams, and today I'm going to talk about 3 tips to stop nighttime snacking. Now, the first tip is to make sure in your cupboards that you've not got loads and loads of temptation, because what will happen at the end of the day is that when you sit down to rest after a hard day's work, the brain will be going, oh, I deserve a treat. And if you've got too much stimulus in there, then you're likely to think, oh, I'll have this, oh, and then I'll have this. Oh, and I'll have this, and then I'll have this. And before you know it, you've eaten sort of half the contents of what's in the cupboard. And excuse me, the second tip is to have a plan. At the beginning of the week, to maybe list your top 10 treats that you would enjoy to have a snack on, and to rate them of a scale of, 1 to 10 of, a bag of cheese and onion crisps would be a 10 out of 10. Or a Mars bar would be an 8 out of 10. And then to have a plan so that you make it almost like a ritual, that when you sit down in the evening, that you can eat whatever you want as long as you fully enjoy it, but you eat like a lean, healthy, happy person would, who eats consciously and knows what they're eating. So they plan to sit down and they'll have one Cadbury's cream egg, and they'll eat it almost like it's an orgasmic experience. This is actually what one of my clients said about her flatmate who didn't have any issues with food. And she says, I don't know how she does it, but she's like in this trance. She's like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And then once she's had that, she knows she's had enough. Well, for those of us who've come from the other side of the fence, that once you start, you can't stop, then having a plan and a structure really helps that. When I work with clients one-to-one, I get them to chart things so that they can see, well, yeah, I act consciously and I made a decision that, yes, Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, I have my bag of crisps and that's my treat. And I sit down and I tell myself, this is my treat and I'm going to enjoy this. And they zoom in onto having like this experience with the food. So they slow down, they taste it like the naturally lean person does. And they make the decision in advance. And that literally wipes out the opportunity of, eating and eating and eating. When I had my son, I put on about 3.5, 4 stone. And I know to lose weight, I had to change some ways of what I was eating. And I with my friend Paul McKenna, I do very similar to what he does, but I also have come up with some finer distinctions because my brain is always looking for, well, what's missing here. And I had the privilege of working with 30% of the people what his system didn't actually sort of work with. And so I'm like, well, what was missing? What could I do differently? And by having a plan and knowing in advance that you want to tick on this sheet that, yes, I set a goal that Monday I'm going to have a bag of crisps, Tuesday I'm going to have some chocolate, Wednesday I'm going to have this, but I'm only going to have this small amount, then at the end of the week you can tick off and you can think, oh, well done me. So that's the third tip, of actually make yourself accountable that this is the decision I'm going to make in advance. Because if you don't have that, then sometimes these junky foods, if that's what you snack on, which I presume it would be, can be highly addictive. And once you start, it's almost like you go into a binge eating behaviour, which our brain then doesn't necessarily help, because it gets into the thing of, oh, well, it's a trigger, it's 8 o'clock in the evening and I pace the cupboards. So we need to have a plan to counteract that yes, you can eat whatever you want as long as you enjoy it, but let's plan in advance that you're going to have 10 out of 10 foods. And if come the Tuesday it's your chocolate night and you think, actually I fancy crisps, then swap it, or at least look at what you've got on your plan so you're thinking consciously of, well, I have a choice, I'm going to have perhaps that instead. Will that take me nearer to where I want to be or further away? And eating sort of mindfully and making a decision that, yes, this is my treat. I like to add in what I call the 20-minute rule, that you can have whatever you want as long as you enjoy it. But after you've eaten that, the urges are, oh, I want to eat more, I want to eat more. Well, you need to make yourself wait 20 minutes and you go and have yourself a cup of tea or something like that. And what will happen is, because the food has gone from here to the stomach, then it sends messages up to the brain. It takes about 20 minutes to register I've had enough. Then 9 times out of 10, the brain will go, well, no, that's okay. I've got my tick on my chart and I'm 2 days in, and it would be great to have more ticks to say, yes, well done me. and it's a way of staying on track. Okay, it's great talking to you today. Bye now.